Hello friends, how are you? Today we read about Matthew Arnold. डियर फ्रेंड, जैसे कि आप जानते हैं कि हम ये सीरीज चला रहे हैं टीजीटी पीजीटी लेक्चर जीआईसी लेक्चरर और एडिट जूनियर में जो वैकेंसी निकली हुई है सब्जेक्ट इंग्लिश की, यानी कि जिन पे सब्जेक्ट इंग्लिश है, जो इंग्लिश की तैयारी कर रहे हैं हम लोगों के लिए सीरीज चला रहे हैं। तो फ्रेंड्स, इस चैनल को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लाइक करें, सब्सक्राइब करें और अपने दोस्तों के साथ, रिलेटिव के साथ इन वीडियो को व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पर और फेसबुक ग्रुप पर शेयर करते रहें। और देखिए, हम कंटिन्यू प्रत्येक डेली एक पॉइंट के बारे में बता रहे हैं आप इसे, और इसका पूरा जो जितने भी इन्होंने वर्क किया वो सारा वर्क बता रहे हैं और कुछ एमसीक्यू क्वेश्चन इन पे पुटअप कर रहे हैं। तो आप इन्हें कंटेस्ट करते रहें और कंटिन्यू अपनी तैयारी करते रहें। तो कम टू द पॉइंट। Matthew Arnold was born on 24th December 1822, Laleham, England, and died on 15th April 1888, Liverpool, England. Matthew Arnold was a Victorian period poet. Okay, तो देखिए अब हम इनका वर्क देखेंगे। Arnold's work. Matthew Arnold was a poet, a critic, and a prose writer of equal eminence. We give below a list of his more important work. Poetical work, the more important poems. Elric at Rome 1840, Rugby Prize poem. Cromwell 1843, Oxford Prize poem. Strayed Reveller and Other Poems 1849, Empedocles on Etna and Other Poems 1852. Next is Saurabh and Rustam, The Scholar Gypsy, Gets Grave, Poor Matthews, Kaza Dead, The Forsaken Merman, Marope, A Tragedy, Thyrsis, Rugby Chapel, A Southern Night, stanza in memory of the author of Overman, once more, stanza from the Grand Chartreuse, Tristan and Iseult, Balder Dead, Dover Beach, Shakespeare, Requiescat, A Summer Night, The Buried Life, Memorial Verse, The New Series. Critical works हैं on translating Homer, The Study of Scholastic Literature, Essay in Criticism. Prose work इनका Culture and Anarchy, S.T. Pauls and Protestantism, Literature and Dogma, God and the Bible, Last Essay on Church and Religion, Mixed Essays, Discourses in America, Friendship Garland. Matthew Arnold was contemporary of Tennyson. Matthew Arnold was contemporary of Tennyson. Arnold defines poetry thus: poetry is a criticism of life under the condition fixed for such a criticism by the laws of poetic truth and poetic beauty. Where does he give this define essay on the study of poetry? Matthew Arnold's Thyrsis is an elegy on the death of A.H. Clarke. The basic theme of Arnold's literature and dogma is theology and religion. Arnold's Culture and Anarchy deals with the subject of education. Truth sits upon the lips of dying men. In which poem of Matthew Arnold's does this lines occur, Saurabh and Rustam? Others abide our question, thou art free, we ask and ask, thou smallest, and art still outtopping knowledge. In these lines, thou refer to William Shakespeare. Philistine in Culture and Anarchy stands for the English middle classes. The story of Saurabh and Rustam is taken from Firdausi. Arnold calls a certain poet a beautiful but ineffectual angle beating. In the void, his luminous wings in vain. Who is this poet Shelley? The Matthew Arnold For Matthew Arnold's a poetry of revolt against moral ideas is a poetry of revolt against life. In which chapter of Culture and Anarchy does Arnold mention Hebraism and Hellenism? Chapter 4. Empedocles on Etna is a dramatic poem. 14. Arnold said with him is born our real poetry. Who is the poet referred to? Chaucer, who is of the view that Matthew Arnold thinks too much of the uses of literature and too little of its pleasure. W. H. Garrod. Arnold said about a poet, his poetry is the reality, his philosophy is the illusion. About which of the following poets does he make this observation? Wordsworth. According to Arnold, who is next to Shakespeare and Milton? Wordsworth. Who calls Arnold a propagandist of literature and an overworked school inspector? T.S. Eliot. O strong soul, by what shore terrest thou now? For that force surely has not been left vain. About whom are these lines written by Matthew Arnold? About his father in the elegy Rugby Chapel. For what weaves out the life of mortal man, 'tis that from change to change their being rolls. 'Tis that repeated shocks again and again exhaust the energy of the strong soul. From which poem are these lines quoted? The scholar Gipsy. Why faintest thou? I wondered till I died. Dost thou ask proof? Our tree yet crowns the hill. Our scholars travels yet the loved hill. From which poem are these lines quoted? Thyreus. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. From which poem are these lines quoted? Dover Beach. What kind of work is Arnold's Marrow? A dramatic poem. Wandering between two worlds, one dead, the other powerless to be born with, now here yet to rest my head. From which poem are these lines quoted? Grand chatter use. What kind of work is Arnold's The Strayed Reveler? A poem in the form of long dialogues. तो डियर फ्रेंड्स, आज ये आपका मैथ्यू आर्नल्ड फिनिश हो गया है। तो आपसे यही आशा है कि आप इस चैनल को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा सब्सक्राइब करते रहें, लाइक करते रहें, बेल आइकन को प्रेस करते रहें, अपने दोस्तों के साथ, रिलेटिव के साथ इस वीडियो को व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप और फेसबुक ग्रुप पर शेयर करते रहें। ओके, गुड बाय। डू देयर बेस्ट इन योर स्टडी। गुड बाय।